Is today really the 28th? Huh. I don't know where all the days go. January 28th episode of Dynamite kicked off with a bang. Kenny Omega opened everything up in a match against Rocky Romero, who was already in the ring, so no entrance for him on TV. Probably had a fun little thing with it when things were dark, which is fine. It was a fine match. Rocky's a good performer. He got a few kicks in, few hits, few jumps, few splashes, few everything. And then he did a little bit of showboating, and Kenny put a knee through the back of his head. And that's just how we ended the match. So it was good. Kenny he's running through the Don Callis family, and he's getting whatever he needs to get to go after MJF. We find out a little bit more about his path to that later in the show. But for an opening match, it was good. No bad notes, no fantastic notes. I mean, everything was pretty straightforward, and that's just what it was. So after the match, Shivani got into the ring looking like the fanciest of fucking highlighters. Black suit, neon yellow tie, neon yellow running shoes. So bright. What are you doing, Shivani? That was a lot. It looked fine overall. But stop blinding the audience with your shoes. That was crazy. And then, of course, as Shivani was asking his questions, Swerve came out, Paige came out, Don Callis came out. There was a whole hullabaloo, and then Omega chased Don Callis into the back at the end of it, and everybody got to cut their little bit of a promo, and then we called it a night from there. So moving on to match number 2, Mox took on Ace Austin. We haven't seen Ace Austin in much, honestly, for several weeks. I mean, it was good. It was fine. Ace Austin has his high flying stuff. He's got thighs the size of tree trunks, and and Mox just likes to hit people. So there was a moderate amount of back and forth. Ace Austin got a few good shots in. Mox ended up taking the win. And that's just where we left it. The whole show overall was a good show. It was a good show. I didn't have any negative points for the show. It was perfect for TV. That's all I can really say. It was perfect for TV. It got the point across on everything that was going on. It continued to run the storylines. It continued to get everybody where they need to be as far as climbing the ranks and everything. So far, 2 matches in, no issue. Then we came to the TNT title match, the first title match of the night. So it was Briscoe versus El Clone. You know me, I'm an El Clone stan. You'll find out more on that at a later date. But it was really good. There was a moment where Clone was going for his kip kick, and Briscoe pushed him, and there was just... Clone was just doing weird lucha stuff while Briscoe was doing weird redneck kung fu stuff. And the two of them together, it was a very entertaining match. Briscoe went to do his little jump. He put the chair in the ring and he was going to jump and do the fly. And Clone slid in and did a flip with the chair. And he grabbed it, flipped with it, landed on his feet, and then closed it, and then went to throw it at Briscoe, and it went way out of the ring, and then it just got more and more ridiculous. We did end up seeing the kip kick later, which was good, but the whole thing with all of its back and forth and shenaniganery, Briscoe ended up with the win, which is fine. I think he should keep that title for a while. It's something for him. In honor of him and his brother, obviously, they're doing a lot to make sure that he feels involved, and he is kind of a backstage personality and in ring performing god, really. I mean, he does so much when it comes to performing. So, all in all, good match. I'd like to see Clone get some more wins under his belt. I'd really like to see Clone versus Hologram at some point. Again, just a personal thing, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. Hopefully, Hologram is healing up well, and we'll just have to see where this goes. And then we got a hell of a surprise, because after the match, Briscoe grabbed a mic and was like, hey, let's bring back the open challenge, except no Don Callis people. I don't want to deal with any Don Callis people. I don't want to see any Don Callis people. So open challenge for anybody but Don Callis family people. And then we got a surprise entrance. Tommaso Ciampa is in AEW now. And he came out with the largest jacket ever. And he gave Briscoe a kiss, and then he was like, I'm coming for that Saturday when you have the open challenge, so I'll see you then. And then he skedaddled back up the ring and did his Tommaso Ciampa thing. So this will be fun. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with him. We have so much talent already. To bring in somebody like Ciampa, who has just run roughshod over so many different companies, I'm curious what kind of feuds we're going to get out of this. I'm hopeful, but I'm curious. So Saturday is his in-ring debut. Tonight he had a whole thing. The entrance was awesome. If you get time, go find it on YouTube. Go find it on Instagram, like whatever. Go find it. His entrance, I had no idea who it was. It was just so perfect. I don't think the crowd knew who it was until his name finally flashed on the Trons after like 45 seconds of absolute buffoonery and darkness. So excited for Ciampa to be in AEW. Let's go. After a commercial break, MJF came out, did a little bit of talking, and I literally mean a little bit. I mean, he barely got like maybe 3 sentences out, and then Brody King came out, and they had some words back and forth. MJF did his MJF thing, and Brody King was like, hey, so I know that you said that I need to defeat people that matter in order to get a shot. Well, I talked to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan and I came up with the best idea. Who better to have a match with, to prepare me for a title shot, than the person holding the title? So guess what? Next week, you and me, eliminator match, and if I win, I get a shot at the title. And if I lose, I drop back down the card, and we call it good, and we all move forward. MJF was obviously pissed, which was fine. It worked. Everything was fine. So we'll have that eliminator match next week, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Realistically, it's going to be super fun. Hopefully, it doesn't get too goofy, although I think it will, just because it's Brody King and he's kind of goofy, and MJF is like the biggest booger in the industry today. So I'm excited. You should get excited. We should all be excited. MJF's going to be in the ring on TV. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Then we came to the second title match of the night, Chris Statlander versus Tekla. Again, no bad notes, no real fantastic notes. It was a very good TV women's title match. Tekla really showed what she's got without getting too crazy. Statlander just does her Statlander thing and uses her power and her speed to kind of cover all the bases. Tekla did give Statlander a spider suplex, I think is what they called it. They were both up in the corner. Tekla was like seated facing toward the audience, and she got Statlander and she did a suplex and then just hung, like put her feet around the ropes to hang upside down. So spider suplex. I'm cool with that name. I think it works, especially because she's the toxic spider. So Stat did end up getting the win in the end. And Willow and Harley Cameron came out afterward to celebrate. There was a whole stipulation where if the Sisters of Sin didn't interfere in this match, they could have a shot at the women's tag team titles. They didn't interfere at all. They came out and they stood on the entry ramp when Tekla was doing her thing, and then they disappeared into the back, and that was the entirety of their involvement. So the tag team match should be good. Hopefully that happens in the next couple of weeks. And then Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford came out at the very end when the Babes of Wrathlander were all like in the ring doing their rah-rah thing. So I don't know if they're also setting their eyes on the tag titles now that Penelope Ford is back in the game. But I mean, if they do, at least we're doing something with the women's tag team titles, and we've got multiple teams coming after it, so it's not just a stale 1v1, v1, 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 and it just over and over and over and gets a little boring. So I'm excited. Hopefully good stuff comes out of this. We'll just have to see what happens. But congrats to Stat for keeping her title. Also, congrats to Tekla for showing her technical prowess in this match. Good stuff. We went to the back after this, and Jack Perry was doing a little thing, a little promo type thing, and then just got absolutely mollywopped by the Demand. And so now, I believe it's next week. It might be Saturday, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. We're going to have Jack Perry versus Ricochet for the national title, which should be good. I mean, both those guys are really good performers. It'll be my guy versus my beloved's guy. So we'll see. Maybe we'll put money on it or something. I don't know. And we'll see what happens, just because it's two mild high flyers. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. So, like I said, no super high points this week on the show. No bad juju either. It was a very standard, very well executed Wednesday night Dynamite. Then we came to our third title match of the night, which was Davis and Doyle versus FTR for the tag titles, and it was exactly what we expected it to be. It's FTR are mildly slobberknocker guys. I know that Cash does some high flying. Dax not so much, but Cash definitely does some high flying against two big beefy boys. So there was it was Davis and Doyle took the lead for a hot minute, and then FTR kind of got control of everything again. There was a moment where Cash got both Davis and Doyle on the outside of the ring, and then went to do a tope, and they caught him. They plucked him right out of the air. And then they lawn darted him into Dax, who was coming around the corner of the ring on the outside. So it was such an interesting little thing to watch. I kind of thought that Davis and Doyle might win it for a second, just because they had such an upper hand. When they had the upper hand, they had the upper hand. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, they were in control. And then at the very end, FTR ended up winning, so they kept their titles. But they kept their titles because the Death Riders came out earlier in the show after the Mox match. Takeshita came out and was like, I'm coming after that title. And then as he slipped out of the ring, Davis and Doyle slipped in, and they both hit Mox from behind and roughed him up a bit. So now the Death Riders showed up, and as the referee was distracted looking that way, Mox hit, I believe it was Doyle, with the Continental Championship, and he rolled back in the ring and then Shatter Machine, and it was game over. So FTR kept the titles. Davis and Doyle had a really good showing. Everything they did was just to prove that they're two giant men doing big manly men things, and it was we need a round two. We need a round two of Doyle and Davis versus FTR. No interference, no distractions, because I really think that Davis and Doyle could have taken it, and that would have been very fascinating to me. But it would have also brought some gold over to the Don Callis family, and there's a part of me that really wants the Don Callis family to just start stacking gold, just because their stable is so large. Which reminds me, then we got to the main event, which was Swerve versus Andrade, and the winner of Swerve versus Andrade would go on to fight Omega, or will go on to fight Omega next week And the winner of that match goes up against MJF at the next pay-per-view. And it was a lot. It was a lot. Both guys are big, strong dudes with heavy hands. Both guys are capable of high-flying stuff. So it was very back and forth. There was a moment where Andrade was screwing with Swerve. There was a moment where Swerve was proving that he could outdo Andrade just by a little margin of a little bit. Then there was some lady in the audience who gave Andrade her phone number. There was so much. There was just so much that happened. In the end, Andrade ended up with the win because as Swerve was going to try and do like a suplex, Andrade reached out and grabbed Aubrey, the referee, Aubrey's wrist, and she pulled away and spun as she pulled, and Andrade got Swerve with a mule kick low blow, and then turned around and hit his finisher, which is now apparently called the DM. I don't know what it stands for, but it's called the DM. So he ended up with the win. So it's going to be Omega versus Andrade next week. Winner of that goes on to face MJF. And I think that they're just going to start... I think this is going to kind of become a normal thing. They're, with so many people going after MJF and the men's title, they're going to have to streamline some of this in order to get more challengers in front of MJF in order for him to earn his contractual money, I'm assuming. Yeah. And then the very last shot of the night was MJF was like kind of doing an interview in the back, and then one person after another popped up, and they were all just kind of like, yep, coming after your title, have a good one, bye. And his driver just speeding off into the distance. So it was a good show. Good everything. Good everything. Very well done. I can't wait to see what happens Saturday. We got plenty of matches coming up, and we're really building toward this first pay-per-view of the year. So the Young Bucks are also trying to do a comeback with their tassels and their super kick parties. But I'm really hopeful for the next couple of weeks. I'm really curious about the next couple of weeks, and I'm extra curious what the first pay-per-view is going to bring us. So until then, I'm going to get this uploaded and then go to bed. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Kick Friday in the balls, and, do your best. Peace.